study out today is talking about how rainbows, I think, are going to be more frequent due to climate change.
That sounds wonderful.
Well, then, of course, you see the studies that say autumn leaves will be duller. Autumn leaves will be more colorful. And then there's the studies that say the fog will be more fog, less fog. And they go through, they make so many contradictory studies, Ezra, that no matter what happens, they're right. It's like picking two teams to win at the big sporting event. You could always say, I picked the winner.
That's
and they're
right.
So the climate models worked no matter what happens.
You know, it's really funny. And you and I have talked about a dozen times about that kookiness, but I want to talk about Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt itself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you believe in the concept of the United Nations, and I'm not sure if I do, but if you believe in a place where countries can meet together, countries that aren't necessarily the best of friends, you're going to have some rough characters there. I mean, it's like Shimon Peres of Israel said, you make peace with your enemies, not your friends. So if you're going to meet at an international meeting, you're going to have some rough customers. And I'd say Egypt is a rough-ish customer. They're not a tyranny, but they're not free either. And I'm a little upset that we can't send our reporters because there's a real risk of them being arrested. I think it's actually, in a way, Canada's fault, though, because they instructed the UN not to accredit us. If we were accredited like you are, I think our journalists would probably be safe. But Canada told the UN, do not let rebel news in.
Wow. I mean, yeah. So we're going, as you mentioned, as an NGO. I've gone as media in the past to these. I've actually, little known fact, I was actually banned for life as well from the UN. The same year Morocco, that she found, I guess, the fake solar generator, electric car generators, Sheila Gunn-Reid found that. I did the cardboard cutout of Donald Trump with a paper shredder, and I literally shredded the United Nations Paris Climate Agreement. This would have been in November 2016. A week after Donald Trump was elected or won the election. And I was immediately descended upon by armed United Nations climate cops. They marched me and Craig Rucker, a CFACT, out into the desert. We had to wander several football field lengths. And then they came back around, the armed climate police, and they seized all the papers from my book bag, my briefcase. And then, of course, we got banned. Now, the following year, we had to do a I am sorry letter and meeting, and we did all that. So we have to really behave and watch ourselves according to UN protocols, even though none of the other NGOs ever have to watch themselves and behave. If you err on the correct side of the policy, you're given a free pass. So we're looking forward to it. And I believe with the news that rebel news isn't going to be there, I don't know that there'll be any other dissenting voices anywhere in all of Egypt during this conference. I'm not aware of anyone who's going. Any Republicans that go in the U.S. will probably be supporting the UN agreement. That's how pathetic many in the Republican Party have become.
You know what? You're right. And hearing you say that makes me sad because I've enjoyed the fact that we have been independent, skeptical journalists. I mean, we just got back from another UN event in Berlin, Germany, the World Health Summit. We just got back from the C40 Mayor's Summit in Buenos Aires, which is a climate, anti-fossil fuel, anti-meat summit. So we love being the only independent people in a room, Mark. And now you're making me sad when I realize we won't be there in Egypt. I just, the idea, God forbid, may it never happen, of our people being arrested and put in an Egyptian jail. I couldn't risk that. I wouldn't risk that for myself, and I would certainly not risk that for our wonderful staff like Sheila. It makes me a little bit sad, but that's the UN for you, and that's Egypt. And what you said happened to you in Morocco is a reminder that this is real. They will have armed police come and arrest you if you do something anti-climate. It's just a fact in some of these countries. It's a shocking reminder what you went through. And I think you're sort of tough, like you're savvy and worldly. I mean, not that Sheila isn't, but I wouldn't want some of our younger journalists to be put through what you were put through in Morocco.
Yeah, and frankly, we'll see. I may end up seeing the inside of an Egyptian jail cell. Knock on wood. Actually, there's a metal table, but who knows what's going to happen. I intend to cover this. I mean, this is going to be, I call it the Cover Your Rear End Summit. I mean, we're seeing the entire United Nations climate agenda the fruits of it laid bare across of Europe, across Canada, across the United States. We're seeing the intentional shutdown of energy with energy blackouts. We're seeing intentional collapse of our agricultural system with the net zero goal of collapsing modern high yield agriculture and collapsing animal agriculture, making meat rare and expensive per the United Nations goals. We're seeing the collapse of transportation with the banning of gas-powered cars and mandating of electric cars, making all the world kind of like the vintage car capital of Cuba, or like East Germany, where they only had one government-approved car. No, not the electric car, but the old crappy East German Trabant.
Right.
And then, of course, we're seeing the collapse of our free speech rights as literally as a corporate government collusion globally are making sure that governments aren't necessarily violating your free speech. They're farming it out to their in collusion with big corporate partners. So you look around the world and you see wood more valuable than gold in Europe. You see forests being felled. You see massive blackouts and possible high death rates among particularly seniors. And what is the UN going to do? They're going to double down, as is Joe Biden and I'm sure Justin Trudeau, and say this is a great opportunity, all this chaos, to now have a faster transition than we thought. And that's the insanity that is the United Nations conference in Egypt that I'll be attending.
What you just saw was an excerpt from my nightly show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every weekday I do a monologue. Usually it's about half an hour. Then I interview an interesting guest, and then we read my hate mail or my fan mail, whichever is more fun. It's only available behind a paywall, though. That's how we pay our bills here at Rebel News. We don't take a dime from Justin Trudeau. But the good news is it's only $8 a month, about half the price of Netflix. And in addition to my nightly show, you also get weekly shows from 4 other friends here at Rebel News. So you're getting 36 shows a month just for $8. I think it's worth it. And even if you're not quite sure, do it anyways, because we rely on viewers like you to keep us free and independent. I promise you I'll never take a dime from Trudeau. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com and click subscribe. Thanks.